Hey everyone, welcome back to the shop. The one I did last night was kind of a preview for the one tonight, so I apologize for the for the wrong channel and going live on the wrong channel. I'm switching back and forth between these two, so sometimes the laptop gets locked up on or gets left on the other channel. And I apologize for that. But if you want to watch the live, I'll leave it up there for a few more days. There's actually a very funny part with me trying to get a bird out of the shop with a big, huge chunk of aluminum. He lived. He's fine. He's outside and happy. So the big thing is the MR6 is back. It is out of the trailer and it is in the shop. The limo is in the garage right now because we have really rain and cold and gross outside. So I parked the limo in the regular garage for storage and brought the MR6 in because we're going racing again. And let me close out this other window over here. There we go. That's better. Okay. We're taking this racing again. We're racing it at Lemons. We've got a really great team together. Brian DePaul and myself put together a bunch of really great drivers. Even after all the fallout here at the shop and everything that's happened in the last few months, the guys have been great, and I apologize for the burp. Having beef ravioli burps. It's really good dinner, but yeah, the burps are no joke. Brian and I put together a really kick-ass team. One of the guys' relatives, I guess, have a vineyard right by Road Atlanta, which is really cool. So we might be staying at a vineyard when we're down there. That'd be cool. We're gonna work on details on that. If not, there's plenty of hotels and stuff. We'll find a place. But the plan right now is to go down the 7th or 8th and then race the 9th and 10th, and then we'll be back here. And unfortunately, that's the same weekend as PRI, and the choice was go to PRI or go racing. And I really wanted to go racing again. We haven't done it since April. And in April, we had a fantastic time. This car was absolutely amazing. So we want to go racing, get another race in under our belt this year. We have 7 championship points, so we'll get some more. I think this is the last one of the year for Lemons, so we'll finish out the year in the positives, which is that would be a new for us. It would be a very good event for us. Some of you know about this car, some of you do not. This is a 1987 Toyota MR2, and we call it the MR6 because we have, it's kind of hard to see from there, but we have a Toyota 1MZ V6 engine in it. And that came out of this particular engine came out of a Toyota Solara, but normally you find them in Camrys. And they're plentiful, they're very cheap. 220 horsepower, 220 foot-pounds of torque, somewhere around there, 210. And they actually fit in the car. We ran this for a year and a half, a little more than a year and a half, with the original 4A GE engine. And that engine's fine. They used it for me at Atlantic, but we just struggled. We had a lot of problems with it. We had wiring issues the first event. We had, God, I can't remember the second event. I think the third event, we had the axle problem, the engine ran great. And then South Carolina Motorsports Park, we had stripper glitter the day before, the night before the race. We'd already passed tech. We'd already gone through everything. And we had, I don't even know what happened to the engine. We pulled the engine out and I gave it away. I didn't even sell it. I gave it to a friend. So as you can see in my shop, I don't have any 4A GEs here. I have one Z block right here, and the crank is up there. And that was last year in 2022 at pit race. One of our drivers on lap number 2 money shifted 4th gear to 1st gear at about 70 miles an hour, and we figured the engine got somewhere between 10 and 12,000 RPMs and fudged the bearings, the crank bearings to the crank. Like, I can't get them off there. So that engine's done, that crank's done. We saved the heads or backup heads, which is great. They'll if we have a head issue, we can bolt them right on to this. It's a non-interference engine, which is great. So when that 12,000 RPMs happened, we didn't run into any problems. Just ran into oil starvation, which kind of sucks. Oil pump worked great. Oil pump still works great. Just didn't have enough oil to pump. It ran out. So this car is, like I said, a combination of 3 different cars. We have the 1987 main chassis is 1987, all rust-free, very clean. The roof is from the 1986 original car, and the roll cage was in. We put that in the original car, but then we realized we had major frame problems, and the only thing holding it together was the roll cage. So I bought this car for $151, and we started swapping parts over. So the doors, you can see. Whoops, this is our hood prop. We have full NASCAR roll cage in here with NASCAR door bars. We have full halo, everything. It's a really, really nice 6-point roll cage. The doors are cut out to accommodate the roll cage. We have the X brace on the opposite side, on the passenger side. We can't have passengers in this car. We can have a seat, and we can do instruction. We can do thrill rides. We can do all that stuff. The windshield is new. We just got a brand new windshield, and I just found this chip in the corner. I don't know what the hell that's from, but that doesn't thrill me because these windshields are hard to find and they're very expensive. So we have a really nice windshield in here. The rest of the windows are Lexan. They're polycarbonate just to save weight. It's funny, when we put the new engine in, we actually lost 40 pounds. The iron block on the 4A GE is so stout and so beefy that when we went to the aluminum block and aluminum heads on the 1MZ, we actually lost 40 pounds of engine weight, which is great. We had a lot of fun trying to figure out how to get this engine in this engine compartment without cutting the firewall into the main cabin or the firewall into the trunk. Ryan, Chris, Joey, a bunch of the other guys, we spent days in here with laser levels and, measuring with like crushing pieces of paper and stuff like that to make sure we had the height correct, the fore and back correct, and the angle correct to get this thing to fit in here. And it does fit in here. I don't have a hood prop. I just have this bungee. Sorry. I don't know where our hood prop went. I don't even have one in the what's left of the other car. So we have about, on the intake, between the intake and the trunk latch, we have about 1/2 inch, and everything is completely accessible in here. The only modification I did was on this side where the dipstick is. The dipstick can come up and over the engine, which is, it's kind of weird to do that. So I cut a little hole in the firewall. There was already a hole there for some type of screw or insulation or whatever. I just enlarged the hole, and I got a plug from a F-150 floorboard, one of the rubber plugs like this guy. It's just a little rubber plug that pushes in and prevents smoke and water and air and all that stuff from getting in. So now you pop that plug out, and it's a 2-way plug, so it locks in, and then you have to pull it really hard to get out. It's hard to explain, but it's super in there. So you pull that plug out, and now the dipstick comes out in a normal straight angle, and it's a lot easier to read. It's a little quicker. So that's the only thing we did regarding firewalls. Everything else bolted up fairly easy. Chris did these awesome custom engine mounts and got those all welded, and they have held perfect. We urethane filled the 2 lower mounts. I mean, this thing is really great, and it really puts down the power great. One thing we do have is we have axles that are at slight angles. So, and I can't remember, I looked at this last night, but I can't remember. I think this axle's about 12 degrees, and this one, I can't really see it here. This one's probably 10. This one might be 12 too. They're between 10 and 12 degrees. Did I see? Is that a tag? Yeah. That's just a tag for the shifter cables. Thought it was a mud dauber nest. So the axles are at about a 10 or 12 degree angle, but with the upgraded spider joints and CV joints and axles, we're not worried about that angle. The spider joints and CV joints come from a company called Fabest. They're a German manufacturer. They make these really great CV joints and spider joints. And we got custom axles made. A company in Indiana called Mosier. They do dump truck axles. They do drag racing, tractor pull axles. They do all the stuff. They're very quick. They're very, very nice people. You can drop off and pick up in person. Those people are cool. Get them specs that you need. Take them examples, and they have hundreds of axle machines there, dating all the way back to like World War II, and they're running all the time. So those folks are really great. I'll show you the axles in comparison to what we had or what was stock on there, and versus what we have. And hopefully I can remember the measurements from the other night. I think I measured them last night. This is an OEM Camry axle. We use that for measurement and parts. And then these are our really nice custom Mosier axles. So here's the OEM axle. I'm going to try not to get my hands dirty. This is a 87 Toyota MR2 axle. And you can see how thin that is. It's 26 millimeters last night. There you go. You can see how thick it isn't. The spider joint and the CV joint are also 30 plus years old. Shit, 87, that's almost 40 years old. It takes 1 second to get your hands jacked up. That's all it takes. I'm gonna grab a rag here. So I don't want to get the nice new axles super dirty. God, those things are filthy. That's why we don't mess around with them anymore. And these axles took about a little more than a week, about 10 days. Here's our new axle. This is 60, what is it, chromoly, 60 series chromoly, something like that. It is 34 millimeters thick and solid billet. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. And like I said, Fabest does these really great CV joints, and we have the spider joint that goes on the other side. But if you want a comparison, since I already got my hand dirty, we can do a comparison between the two axles. There you go. Now you can see which one do you want to put in your car? Yeah, I want to put this one in there too. This one is good to about 700 horsepower, and we won't be anywhere near that in this car. Even with, we put nitrous on it or a supercharger or whatever, we won't be anywhere close to that. So we have 4 of these axles. We have 2 currently in the car and 2 spares here. And they go with us to the track because the axles are not matching. They are specific to each side on the transaxle. And now I can spend another 10 minutes cleaning up my hands. The axles were a big part. We blew them up. We blew up the CV joints and had the car catch on fire when Ralph Shields was driving it at Gingerman a couple of years ago. And that was Ralph's first time at Gingerman, first time at Lemons. Sorry, first time at Lemons, not his first time at Gingerman. And quite the introduction. But he was super, super great. He's an amazing driver, and he was he's a total rock star, man. I'm in the paddock and everything. Everyone knew who he was. We registered him under his other racing name. He has a bunch of pseudonyms, so you can kind of get away with stuff because he's very well known. And as soon as he started walking around, people figured out who he was. And Ralph is a huge car guy, like massive. Yes, he's one of the best designers on the planet, but he is a huge car guy. And he goes over to these guys running a 87 Mustang, and he's like, yeah, man, you still got the 373 rear end. And he knows all this stuff about all these cars. And it was great to cruise the paddock with him and see how massive of a car guy he is. When he could very easily just be a designer and just care about style and all of that. But man, he loves to drive. He loves to work on cars. He has no problem, getting underneath a car. I've watched him do it at track events with his Viper. He's there doing all the work himself. He doesn't have a crew or anything. He can very easily just pay a crew to, set his car up, and he gets in and drives it. But no way. He's there adjusting the splitter, doing tire pressures, checking oil, all that stuff, all by himself. His wife Doris is there usually. She's pretty cool. She definitely motivates him. That's the best way to put it. She's awesome too, and their kids are great. Really, really nice people. Let's see what else. And the other cool part about this car that a lot of people don't realize, and I can tell you right now that I have not seen anyone else do this. I haven't seen Kimberly do it. I haven't seen any of the YouTube guys do it. I haven't seen anyone on any of the Motor Trend shows or anything like that. I haven't seen anyone take an OBD1 car and make it OBD2 compliant. And that's what we did with this car. Devin and Nate and a couple of other guys really kicked ass on the wiring and made this car OBD2 compliant. Now, one of the main reasons we have that is because we have a fully digital dash, and it's actually touchscreen and everything. It's very cool. But we also wanted to be able to track stuff and sensors and look at, oil pressure and, misfires and stuff like that with a regular OBD2 computer. So wiring all of that into this car. Now, there's a reason people don't do that. Doing a regular wire harness is a lot easier. You get a whole brand new wire harness, lay it down, clip it in place, and it plugs right in. We went OEM, and we did it all. The only difference is our plug is not in the OEM location. We have it moved over towards the center console. So we can go in from the passenger side and plug in a computer and check everything. That's why we did it that way. But yeah, I haven't seen anyone else who's ever done anything like that. I wish I had the camera portable. I could take you guys in the car and you can see all this cool stuff. It has power mirrors. The power mirrors still work. The steering still tilts. We have the seat on a slide, so we can get taller and shorter drivers in here. Like I said, we have a fully digital dash, but all of our analog gauges still work too. And we have two other gauges. We have an oil pressure and an oil temp gauge. The heater still works. We still have a heater core. And I redid the entire HVAC system, cleaned it all out, repainted it, resealed it. So, because we're in Ohio, so we need, at the very least, we need defog for the windshield. But we also have heating here, so we can crank the heat, which is very nice. We have, and my big thing was I wanted the LCD clock in there, so I bought a spare clock off of eBay, and we have the LCD clock in there, which is pretty cool. The shifter cables, Braden Conley from Midwest Bayless, he scored us these great shifter cables, and they're a little bit longer than what we need, but the way we have them routed works perfectly. So we're pretty content with that. What else do we have in here? The one thing we did change is we changed the battery location. We moved the battery from, normally the battery's right here in the engine bay. We actually have it up front now, and that's for ease of access and for wiring for our cutoff, because we have to have a full cutoff, which is right here, for safety. That's one of the safety things. We did, off one of the other cars, I bought this Pokemon MR2 in Gingerman at our first event, which I probably shouldn't have done, but I did. Anyway, we got the big brake kit up front, and that's off a 90s Lexus IS300. So we have bigger brakes up front, which is really great on a car with all your power in the back. We still have the OEM brakes in the back. Our theme is white and black, and then our accent color is yellow. What else? We've kept the car white, so when we do graphics on it, it shows up really well. But we can also wrap it very easily. If you have a darker color, it wraps. The lighter wraps. It's harder for them to show up. The hood is off of the red car. The front fascia is off of the red car. This fender is off of the red car. This door is off the red car. And the roof. This is my first chop top. I never chopped the top off of a car and swapped it. And Brian Hammond did a great job getting it welded back together. And we're within 1 millimeter of OEM spec, which is really cool. This back glass is in here really tight. If it wasn't within spec, you can just push that glass right in. You can just go bink and break into the car and just push in the glass. You can't do that, not even with the Lexan. Turn signals still work, headlights work. Devin 3D printed these really cool knobs for the headlight and wiper controls. So, because normally they were round with a little lever that stuck out so that you could just finger switch them. But when you're in a race situation, you don't want to accidentally pop up your headlights or turn on the wipers. So we just made them knurled knobs with a little notch to show you what position you're in. And those came out really great. Devin did a cup for our power cutoff. Ryan did the original one in the sand in South Carolina with he used a thing like this, a magnetic parts tray and a screwdriver and a hammer, and like chiseled it out. And it actually came out pretty cool considering we didn't have a nice solid mount for that. Our original mount was outside here and they wanted it inside, so we had to move it. What we have coming up for the car is we have coilovers coming from BC Racing. Currently, we're running stock OEM spring strut suspension. They are cut springs. We have a 1.5 inch drop in the back and a 1 inch drop up front. And we are the only MR2 team at Lemons that doesn't have coilovers. So we're going to change that. And the suspension on this is still really good as is, but it's going to be so much better with coilovers. We're going to have a much better handling car. Not having major snap oversteer problems with this car, I haven't had anything. I've only driven it autocross a couple of times, but on the track, I never had anything where it got squirrely on me really quickly. I always knew kind of what was coming. I never had anything weird. I'm sure at autocross it can get snappy oversteery, but I never had any kind of problem with that. Let's see what else. The rear deck and rear wing are off of a completely different MR2. I wanted to keep this no wing. I kind of liked the Ferrari Testarossa look on it, but I got outvoted. And now that the wing's been on here for, it's been on for almost a year, I kind of like it. It does also give us a fourth brake light. We have a third brake light behind the back window. Have a brake light here, and then we have our two tail lights. And like I said, our turn signals, this thing's street legal. Turn signals work, headlights work, fog lights work, backup lights work. What else? There's so much work that went into this car over 3 years. It's hard to go over everything. We have 2.5 sets of wheels for this. We have our drives, which are on here now. We have our reins, which are currently on my Miata. We have 2 spares up there, which are our backups, and those are the Bridgestone Potenzas. The regular tires we run are Nitto NTO5s. The rain tires are the Nitto Neogens, and they work great. Even if it's mildly moist, they're really, really nice tires. Wheels are all 949 Racing 6UL. The silver ones that are currently on the Miata. The black ones here are powder coated from Performance Powder Coating. Same with the black ones up there. Performance Powder Coating does all my Cerakoting, all my powder coating. They've done it for years. They did these lift arms, the floor plate, the Cerakoting on the intake and the valve covers. They've done My other race car, my SRT4, they did tons of powder coating and Cerakoting on that. My Viper truck, my first Viper, my second Viper. What else have they done? They haven't done any powder coating on the limo. They haven't done any powder coating on the Jeep. They've done Cerakoting on the Miata and tons of powder coating on the Miata. We did the whole suspension on the Miata, so it matches the roll bar, which is pretty cool. You have to look. No one ever sees it. You have to look underneath the car in order to see powder coated suspension. But I know it's there. It makes me feel better. God, what else we got? Oh, people are typing. I'm not even seeing that. Let me pop on some glasses and read what people are saying. Oh, hey, Diane. Oh, the sound gets muddy or muffled. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know about the vineyard thing. I got to find out more information from some of the guys that we're driving with. But it was a suggestion that was put in the group message, which I thought was pretty cool. If we can't stay at the vineyard, not a big deal. We'll stay at a hotel nearby. Road Atlanta is a really nice place. There's tons of nice places around there, so I'm not terribly worried about that at all. So for the next couple of days, for the weekend, we're gonna put some miles on this. I drove it yesterday. Yeah, I drove it yesterday for about half an hour, and it ran awesome. Had no issues. Stayed cool. Tons of power. Handled great. Brakes work awesome. We're gonna get new pads. Brian suggested a company called G-Lock, so we're gonna check out their pads, find the right, compound for what we're trying to do with endurance racing, and get a couple sets of those for Saturday and Sunday, and then I'd really like to get this to the body shop and get everything sort of smoothed out and repainted, because it's about 5 different color whites. Like this white is different than this, which is different than this, which is different than this. Yeah, they're all different. We also have some trim, like our Lexan windows. The tape has held for a couple of years, but we actually have the trim pieces that go in here, and we can add those trim pieces. They're not going to add that much weight to the car. The car, as it sits right now with a full tank of gas, is 2,600 pounds, and that's 220 horsepower. We're actually over a little bit. Nate was meticulous when he helped me rebuild this engine, and we went through it very, very thoroughly and made it absolutely perfect. We're actually about 15% over OEM compression on all 6 cylinders, so we have a little bit more horsepower than the 225. So we're pretty close to that 10-to-1 ratio, which is that's my theory, is if you have a 10-to-1 ratio, if you have 10 pounds for every horsepower, you have a fun car. You have the capability of having a fun car. And the Miata is like that. Although I guess the Miata kind of breaks the rules, because the Miata is only 125 horsepower and it's 2,200 pounds. So, and then you have things on the other side of the spectrum, like the Aerolanum, the V8 Aerolanum, which is 1,400 pounds and 500 horsepower. So somewhere in the middle. This is somewhere in the middle. But I think the 10-to-1 ratio is kind of the good number to go at, and you can have a ton of fun all day with that. We're pretty close in this car. The transaction, we have a new clutch in here. Believe it or not, I just put an OEM Toyota clutch in. It's made by Exidi. There's nothing special about the clutch in this. It's not a 6-puck. It's not anything. It's not the alien puck 3-puck thing. It's not anything bizarre. It gives us awesome grip. We can do burnouts in this, and obviously it held when the car got money shifted. That was the old OEM clutch, and that thing held. So why not put another one in it? It works just great. It's not very heavy. They're very small clutches. 6-spring, single disc, nothing fancy, and they're not expensive. So if you blow a clutch up, and they're not too bad to replace. The axles we have the axles down pat now, especially after pit race. We're pretty quick at, and at Gingerman, pretty quick at swapping axles out. Steering, it's manual steering. There's no power steering. but we only have 205s on here, so it's not that hard to turn the wheel even at slow speed. It's still, I don't know, it has a detent at the 0. So when you start from 0, there's like a little play before you kick in, because it has this, it's not slop, it's like a hold, and you have to kind of break the hold in order to get out of it. And that's kind of an odd thing, but once you drive it a little bit, you get used to it. And when you're at the track, you're constantly turning, so it becomes a normal thing. You remember that detent at the center. Sorry, windshield washers do not work. Those have been unplugged. We still have the tubing and the bottle for it and the pump. I think we're still wired for it. We haven't put it in. When we had the Lexan, the polycarbonate windshield on here, we didn't want to run the wiper, so we never hooked that stuff back up. We don't really need it. What else do we have? We have the standard fuel tank. The fuel tank I had out. It completely got coated inside. It was all cleaned out and lava stones. You put these lava stones in there and rotate it, and takes all the corrosion and stuff out. And then you do this coating inside. And then you guys know I'm a big fan of truck bed liners, so I did TBL for the entire. I've used so much TBL on this car, so much of the undercarriage, the whole floor in the cabin. Yeah, just everywhere. And I did the whole gas tank, the exterior of the gas tank in TBL. I think we have a spare gas tank. For some reason, I think we have a spare gas tank out of one of the other cars. Spare deck lid and spare fender, spare dash, the heads. We have a lot of spares for this car. I also have the body kit on this model, because this originally was an automatic. We made it a 5-speed. You get a drill hole in the firewall, add clutch, pedal, and all this other stuff. But on the GT version, you have different ground effects, which I have from the red car. I just haven't put them on this car because it looks really good like that. It's a little lighter weight, so I didn't put any of the ground effects on from the red car. I don't know if we will. If it works better with the coilovers, maybe we will. We have our license plate and we have insurance on it. What else do we have? OEM tow hooks. Oh, I lost a tow sticker over here. I think that's about it. Like I said, we got to get this. Once it needs to go to the body shop and get painted. And when it's all the same white color, it will look a lot better. And the good part is most of this stuff can come out and they can literally cover the engine, and then they can just spray. We can take parts off, the deck lids and all of that, and they can sand and spray to their heart's content. Most of the stuff in here is all covered and waterproof and super durable. We built it that way. Up front, like I said, we just have the battery, and this battery's taking forever to recharge. It got really low. It got left on. We have a new brake master cylinder. We have a new clutch master cylinder. New hoses for the cooling system. There's actually hard lines because the radiator's all the way up here. We have a new aluminum radiator. It's a stock size. It's just aluminum because the other one, the vanilla cap started to release. So we got a new aluminum radiator. There's a big, like 6-foot section of aluminum tubing that runs from the radiator up front to the engine in the back. And all of that got cleaned out. And I don't know if it got TBL'd. I think it just got protective paint on it. Oh, Brian Hammond is messaging me. Let's see if he's in for racing. Oh, he's on his way over. I'm just going to let him know that I'm on YouTube. and maybe he remembers some stuff about the car too. Since we're doing these lives, I'm trying to update you guys. We did have all of this work on another channel, but the person who was in charge of that channel went full schizoid and deleted everything. So we had about 5 years worth of stuff that all disappeared. So that's why I'm trying to update you guys on this now. It didn't disappear. I'm sure he still has it, but it's not available to anyone. That's really disappointing because a lot of people worked on this car and they can't even go back and enjoy that. I can understand being resentful towards me, and I get that. That's fine, but you don't need to hurt other people, and that did. I've heard from a bunch of people, hey, where the hell's the video? I wanted to see, when we plasma cut the roof off, or when we got the engine started, and I'm like, I'm sorry, all those videos are gone. The guy went crazy and deleted everything. Yeah, sorry. So that's why I'm still trying to remember everything, because we did a ton of stuff on here. And I can hear Brian's car. You can hear Brian's car from down there. It's a automatic, but he manually shifts it, and it's basically straight piped. It's so loud. It is so loud. I don't know if you guys can hear it. He's on his way in. I might just give him a microphone and have him talk. He got invited to race with us at Lemons too, so I think that's why he was coming over tonight, was to talk about lemons and what we're gonna do. We'll take the Grom. I know you guys can't really see the Grom. We've got a grill. Scott Brixey's coming down with us. Another new friend, Casey, he might come down with us. His name's Casey Blackburn. He might come down and check out racing and help us out, lend a hand, just do a fun weekend at the track. So we've got a whole bunch of people. Dakota's another driver, and it's Brian, Dakota, myself, and Ted. Sorry, I totally forgot. Totally forgot the guy's name. So, hey, we're on YouTube Live, just so you know, before you start swearing and making stuff up. Yeah, Brian just rolled up in my Zonda R. Yeah, come here. I want everyone to see the footwear. Okay, it's 40 degrees outside. Safety sandals, fellas. Oh my God. Yeah, we got thermals on. There's long underwear on. We got long underwear and the vest on. Not the heated vest? No. Oh, okay. Okay. Not that Hashtag Milwaukee. But are you like afraid of socks, or do you hate them? Or I'm footwear adverse, man. It's like the safety sandals keep you alert in shop. I got tennis shoes or boots on. I'm walking around and I'm just dumbfounded. No, I do. I have these big flipper feet too, and I bonk into stuff all the time. But I would have my toes would look so mangled if. Okay. I have like really thick, really nice thick socks on. I'm okay because it's 73 degrees in here. Yeah, so I'm actually okay. My neighbor shop was 90 degrees today. I'm not shutting the kerosene heaters off. The shop's warm. We're staying here. Yeah, you have to keep it and let it. Well, I let it run all the time, and it's a little bit cheaper than the propane. Yeah, and it doesn't smell. I mean, don't get me wrong. The propane heater, 480,000 BTUs. It'll empty a 15-pound tank in 20 minutes, but it'll be 85 degrees in the shop. What? No, it's up there. No, up there. Oh, yeah, it's still in storage. That's how you know it has it. Well, it's supposed to snow next week, so it'll probably come out. Yeah, I know. What thing? Oh, no, that's in December. It's in Atlanta. Did you get that email? It went to Anna, didn't it? Yeah. So when I sign people up, I have to send out invites through Lemons. So I sent it and I clicked on it because it has Brian's name. Right. So I get a message from Anna a couple hours later. She's like, "Hey, you accidentally sent me Brian's invite," and I'm like, "Oh, it's because last time Brian was with our team, it went to her so that she could register him and pay for it and everything, and then she'd make sure that he got in without him having to do anything." So she called me and said it was still going there. So
she was trying to surprise me the last time, actually, right?
possibly.
Wasn't that the deal? I was like, I think I had written it off. I said, well, that'll never happen.
Was that what happened?
You and her teamed up. You guys tried to sneak me in together and surprise me. And
that is a very distinct possibility.
I think that's
Nolan is out, but he wants to race with us at Pit Race in April. So he's out for Atlanta. But we've got Brian, Dakota, and Ted, and myself. So we do have other drivers. If you want in on driving, you got to sign up by tomorrow. Tomorrow's the cutoff day. And you don't need to have money by tomorrow. You just have to sign up. And you can get removed instantly with $0.
Well, it's funny how, like, you have to sign up tomorrow.
And that's the thing. I pay for it all because I'm team captain. So I pay for it all. And then when we find out if we have 4 guys, it gets split 4 ways. If we have 5 guys, it gets split 5 ways. And it works way better that way. Way better.
This is good. Because the last time we went somewhere with this car, it had no tech stickers. It also had...
That was the last time you went. We passed tech 3 different times.
Like we as in you and I together.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Yeah.
Windscreen. It's got tech stickers.
Glass windshield.
Peggle said it's good at least once, and by at least once, 3 times good enough. 3rd time, so that's great.
We have a Ginger, a South Carolina, and a Pit Race. So, yes, very content with that. This car is. Yeah, no, that's the driver countdown timer. So. Set it for whatever you want. No. By the way, just so you guys know, if you want to sign up for our Lemons team, the minimum is half an hour. We have this big clock, and you can set the clock for whatever you want. So you set it. We just set it for 30 minutes, and then you can reset it, and then whoops, where did it go? And go. And then it does your countdown.
So, let's discuss something.
With everyone on YouTube?
Aren't these vents cast?
No, not on these cars. Again, another difference between 86 and 87. So the one I have up there is that huge cast aluminum.
Yeah.
This is plastique.
That's why
this one goes all the way around. It doesn't fit. You actually can't put that vent on that car.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't fit. It's a whole different intake for the fan and car intake.
Okay. I wondered because I was tapping this and I'm like, pretty sure the other car.
Yeah.
Because these doors are off.
Correct. They were already cut.
For some reason, we moved the vent, but I guess we never moved the vent.
I still have the other doors too in storage. So if we do have a door ding, all we have to do is template the inside and cut it out.
This is one of those cars that's so hard to keep track of. Okay, well, I guess where do we start? So the doors and the roof are not from this car.
Correct, and the hood. The hood, the front fascia, the roof, the doors, and the roll cage are all from the red car.
For most people, I could see even a couple bumper covers.
Right. And I explained to people that when we did this chop top, how close you got it to OEM spec. It's unbelievable.
I still feel like we could have done so much better.
We could have.
It's like,
Absolutely could have.
it's just a hang attack.
But how tight this is to the A pillar, how perfect this is in the B and C pillar. I just, and even the guys at Lemons were like, this is a really nice cage. Plus, getting rid of it, what we did on the
Yeah, what was
on the
fellow-
crossbar?
who was that guy's name?
Mark Mahan in Akron,
Yeah.
roll
He
cage
came
guy.
down here and did it in like a day, right?
No. I had it up to
Took it
him
up
for
there.
months. I took the cage out in a day.
Well, yes, I
That was a
remember
different story.
the ratchet straps, port power,
Yeah.
plasma cutter saws, all.
But we did a cool thing with the, because we have a full halo up top here and we have a crossbar, a support bar. You have to have a support bar across the top. In Lemons, they draw it in their manual to go, sorry folks, to go from passenger front to driver rear. But that's not, you just have to have a crossbar, it doesn't matter. Since we have taller drivers, like Brian and I are over 6 foot, and we had Jake who was 6'4" at the time, we ran our crossbar from the front here over to there. So this section, we have headroom that's clear of the roll bars. But we still have a crossbar. I know, all of this needs to go body shop. What really drives me crazy is the 5 different colors of paint. There's
Okay.
5 whites.
Yeah, but
White.
it was done at like 6 in the morning on the trailer while it was raining, just to get it all the same color.
That was the fender and the hoods, and that was the roof. Yeah,
Gosh, what else?
the doors. I think the doors
So
too.
it was like a lot of the car, but on the trailer.
Well, and this is spray painted white too.
The morning we were gonna drive to Jim. Like it was drying on the trailer.
It was. It absolutely was.
But you know what? It looks great on the racetrack. Like I've seen photos of the car, guys out in it.
Yeah. It does. For race car spec, it works great.
What's the lid?
Not as bad as you would think.
Okay.
Oh boy, is that sticker?
I bet the lid is awesome.
Probably because you have those crazy roof vents
Well,
that are actually vents for floors in a house.
no, they're vents.
For a
all the
trailer.
semi-truck.
Yeah, they're
They
for a
came out of
trailer.
you know where your drunk buddy sleeps when you're team driving?
Yeah, and they
Long
pop out
area.
from the side. Yeah.
Pop out from the side, they go either direction. And the best part about buying those was you got 2 of those and a bump net to hold down the drunk fat buddy. All for $20 American, used out of the same truck. You have to take apart 2 semis.
Speaking of doll hairs, you know what I heard tonight that I thought was very interesting was Cletus McFarland used the term full chooch.
Yeah, you didn't know that. Yeah, so you know what that means?
That means he's watching AVE.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cletus is.
But the wormhole goes even deeper because if you track it heavy, Dr. Parker also uses the term full cheek.
I don't know, Dr. Parker.
So Dr. Parker is Garrett's brother, Parker. So if you know Cletus, a lot of people don't know his name.
Well, Cletus dumbs himself down for YouTube to an incredible level.
Oh, he used to, but this dude,
Garrett does not dumb himself down.
it's like Monopoly money. He's like the Monopoly man. He has a racetrack, now he has a carbon cub, and the next thing we know, there will be a runway at the racetrack. And it's just a matter of time. But it's so multifaceted. You're like, how do you even, because like if you track the way that feller started, the moniker Cletus McFarland all came about from him dicking off with what was it?
The Corvette.
Corvette and Kyle Loftus that started 1320 videos. So for years he just traveled around and helped Kyle film. And like just out of the goodness of like wanting to help his buddy like succeed at YouTube with his channel and stuff. And they were actually up here in 16 for Hot Rod Drag Week. And those dudes, they're such a humble, modest beginning.
That was on the white.
That's pretty rancid, man. What was on there?
I think it was originally a sticker, but
That's not the money shift engine blow up from
no,
Rookie Hour.
no.
What's the? Can we buff this?
Yeah, I mean, all this can get cleaned up. It hasn't
I feel
been.
like we should just scuff and shoot this car worn solid, good coat of white. This
I'm
needs-
with you. I was saying that
I got
this can
dirty
go.
glass out the ass of the shop. We can dirty glass all this flat and be done with this once and for all. Nobody's going to see any of this, and nobody needs to know it was there.
This is just
duct tape adhesive, right? Like
yeah. This
line?
is just leftover adhesive.
Think this will come off?
This is elbow greased.
Or you think it'll take- Ooh,
It's off.
hey, I like the guy that put this windshield in. He's
Yeah.
a fan of the urethane.
Yes. Yeah, I tried to do the rubber trim around here, but it came off in about 1 mile. The little gasket that was on here didn't work too well.
Then on the side, right?
Yeah.
He cut
Well,
it short or
no,
something.
it didn't have any support on the backside. It only grabbed onto the windshield. Yeah.
Use, Lexington?
They're still same polycarbonate that we had. Nothing's really changed on that. Yeah,
Hey, the fire model's not been used yet, so that's good. Sweet baby.
and it's been recertified, so we are still current on that. We have another, I think we have another year or two.
Wait, so you're telling me that they sold us an out-of-date model?
No,
Close to out-of-date model.
no, I think it's every 2 years you get them certified. Yeah, I think it was.
It has been
I think with the last event, it was going to expire before the event, so we just said screw it. Yeah, I don't remember. And they also, we bought it right before they got their certification, and so they weren't sending out units with the certification stickers on there. And then, literally the day after we bought it, they're like, "Yeah, we're now."
Is it a lifeline?
Yeah, we're now certified, whatever, FIA certified. And we're like, oh crap. So we printed up a certified sticker and put it on there. We got the exact same thing, just didn't have the sticker on it. Hmm.
Okay, so I don't want to early, but
Oh.
a very large asset. Shop on Sunday.
The engine. That Scoober engine?
I've been sitting on for like 5
Good.
years.
Have you been inside this?
No. I'll have to take a look at my best piece to get it in. Or I won't be able to get it in. What?
Choking on my Rockstar.
I thought you were choking on my vape smoke.
Mm-mm.
Trying to give you the old, what is that? The chlorine gas chamber.
Mustard gas?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's,
no
you know,
thanks.
Foul stuff.
And since Brian has his racing flip flops on,
Which get kicked off on the primary brake car. They get jammed underneath the brake pedal, you're in trouble.
so
That's
you
not
have,
bad. Dude, actually a pedal placement.
I know, and then you have the
This is like
oil
driving-
pressure, oil temp on the side, fire suppression right there. Heater works great. We changed out
Yeah.
these knobs. Devin printed out 3D knobs. Still tilt. Turn signals work. We still power mirrors.
I hate to say it, but I'm the asshole that's going to use the turn signals in traffic on the track.
It's okay.
Move over, fellers! I'm coming in.
I've seen guys do it when I'm instructing.
Your
I've,
mirrors fold?
yeah, the mirrors still fold in.
So you know I'm probably gonna be careful by somebody for not being where they want me.
Well, you better not, because that'll be way too close.
Oh.
Yeah,
I did fold somebody's mirror in on 161.
I've seen a lot of F-250 brodozers with shattered mirrors on driver's side.
I'm not that aggressive, but I'm just really tired of being passive aggressive.
God.
Lane blocking. We're losing blood already.
I know. Well, I digging around underneath the dash of the limo, doing all that wiring.
Oh yeah.
I got cut a whole bunch.
Okay, so let's talk about the limo.
What,
How soon until we can put water in it?
tonight? You can get water in it anytime. It's waterproof with water.
But does it have stowage tanks?
No, we don't have the tanks in it yet, and we don't have the green egg. There is our aerator, pump, and heater. So that has to go in.
Okay.
That's
That's
this.
from one of them Pullman.
Yep. Yep. And this goes behind the driver's seat, and then you have a remote control pad that controls everything. And we have the 2 storage tanks. So we just need 2 pumps to do empty and fill on those tanks.
So
Wire that up and plumb it up, and we're done.
those tanks, what if we put some insulation around them to try to help water?
We're going to use on the limos, they had heater hose that ran from the
Saw
front
that.
of the
You
car.
pointed that out the last time.
We're going to coil up heater hose underneath the metal frame that holds those tanks. The heater hose will convection heat the water.
Okay. Have you heard of Motors and Mayhem?
No.
I'm getting off 161 last week. To Hamilton.
Okay.
And the car killed Dale Earnhardt's like right in front of me. Ah! Kenny Schrader, what are you doing here? 36 Eminem's car.
Okay.
So baffled. I'm like, she's got taillights and a license plate, but I still see a fuel cell. And by the way, it smells like race gas. This is brilliant.
It's a NASCAR car.
It's a Richie Craven's stock car chassis as raced by Kenny Schrader.
Really?
And
Okay.
this feller's purchased it, and he's made it road legal, and he lives here locally, and he's got a channel, I guess. And I checked out his channel. He's only got 46 subs or something like that. And I thought, how do you only have 46 subs? Damn it, you're driving freaking
Well, not a lot of people like that car.
well, I hate to say it, but like,
It's a cool car, but not a lot of people like what it did.
yeah, I think people kind of
Let that part go.
I think people kind of forgot that was what happened, that it was Kenny Schrader that hit him in that car. But that's not what we all know, that him going up into the wall was what killed him, because the same thing killed Adam Petty. It killed was Davey Allison.
Yeah.
Same exact style of entry, and it had been a problem for years. And he also had the school bus driver seat,
Mm-hmm.
which only had an arm on one side. And so it was like kind of a multifaceted, like course injury or whatever. But
We should have him come over to the shop, man.
Kenny Schrader felt terrible about that whole thing. And I think he went and raced that car for 2 or 3 more seasons afterwards. But
I didn't know that. I figured it was retired.
And he was cool as hell. And he goes, I said, hey, do you have like a website or a channel or anything? And he points at the side of the car and he goes,
It's on there.
Yeah,
Okay.
Motors Mayhem. And I was like,
It's not
oh.
still straight pipe. He has a normal exhaust.
Oh no, it still has a speed.
It sounds like the limo. Yeah.
It was every bit of it. I got behind him on the freeway for a reason.
Okay.
I
Okay.
never, let me put it this way. I slow down on the freeway for no one.
I've seen so many
But I had to
NASCAR cars
slow down.
for sale. Like guys are selling them.
We need to do that.
We had it at. We had a guy who had. It was the Miller.
Yes.
Um.
Like the High Life.
Yeah, the Miller High Life car.
Was it
But
aluminum from the 80s?
no,
Aluminum?
it was newer than that.
Like a 90.
Maybe even 2000s. 2000s
Oh,
Monte Carlo. And he was at Auto Interest event, and he was in the novice group, and he was having a tough time doing point buys because he has wrist restraints. So, and getting his arm out, he has to do like go. So
Off the net.
yeah,
It's literally, it's this. Like if you've never driven a car with a net in it.
yeah, you have your choice. You can go behind the net or in front of the net. But the problem is you have wrist restraints that don't let your wrists go very far. You can turn the wheel, but it won't let your wrist go very far. So when you try to do a point buy, And then you have a little section here. You can go at the very front of the net or the very back of the net. So when you're doing it up, you have to like reach your hand over, and then you can barely see like their finger. Whereas someone in like a Porsche or a Corvette, they can get their whole hand out and they can point you by or point you by. But in this NASCAR car, it was very hard. So the guy was super cool. He's like, look, I'll see you behind me and I'll just lift. And you can go past. It's going to be very hard with the wrist restraints for me to point you by. He was very smart about it, and he was super cool all day. So, but man, that car was screaming.
What's cool
so
about
loud.
them is the transmission.
Yeah.
Because there's so many different gear options for them.
And they're all quick change.
Yeah, and that to me, if you want to go buy like a spec race car right now, that's the absolute best bang for your buck is a retired stock car, whether it's like NASCAR or ARCA.
I saw Aero wheels for sale for $10 each.
Yeah. Also, Thunder Roadsters.
1600 cc's of fun, baby.
Under 10 grand. You can buy $5,000 to $8,000 sometimes.
I haven't seen them that cheap. I've seen them 15, 20 grand, but they're also loaded with spares.
Chassis.
Now this is full body work. Yeah.
Need some work.
Yeah. Thunder Roadsters are really fun. You have this open cockpit, but you have a lot of body work. And they're 1600 cc's. It's a Busa engine, right?
A few different options on the engine.
I think you can go Ninja or Busa.
Yeah.
It's usually a motorcycle engine. 4-speed, 5-speed. Yeah, Yamaha. What's the
R1?
Yeah, R1. And they have a bunch of cool engine options. They're smaller cars. They're pretty narrow, but they have huge slicks on them. They're a ton of fun. A ton of fun. Yeah.
Proper choice.
Yeah. That's off of Challenge Car.
No, oh wait, foam.
The padding is.
Okay.
Not the roll
cool.
bar.
That's a cool little legacy.
Yeah. Yeah, we have the foam padding in the cars from a car we used to race with Studio 47, a Ferrari 360 Challenge car. We saved a bunch of the foam padding from that car before we sold it, and we used it in this car. Why not, right? Foam padding doesn't expire. It just deteriorates. And we can still use, if we want to, we can put the HVAC back in there.
Yeah.
The ducting.
Destroyed, yeah.
Yeah, it's not destroyed. We have it attached in the back.
We'll flock this dash.
Flock it? Why? No, just leave it.
Flock that dash.
No, it's fine.
I'll flock it.
It doesn't shine or anything like that. It works great.
But if we flock it, it'll be so gorgeous.
It would, but
And it'll feel like we're in a Group B car, but we'll be doing it.
right.
And it really would be super cool to do this up like the Lancia Stratos, like we originally talked about way back like 4 or 5 years ago when we first met. We were standing in a driveway and we're all looking at it and we're like, what themes can you do for a Lemons car? And it's like you could do the 037.
Which is very cool, the Martini Rossi.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's timeless.
I mean, it's just there's so many cool mid-engines to do.
There are.
This. Like,
I'd like to do the cheater one. Remember the trumpets that got bigger as they got warmer and then shrunk? Remember that on the cheater car? God, who did? It was Toyota that did that, right?
that's
Yeah.
a turbo restrictor.
Yeah.
The turbo restrictor would move out,
That
create a space behind it that would leak air
was
by.
hysterical.
So good.
So funny.
I really love like skating the rule book. Like Smokey Unit to me is like the hero of I'll do everything by the rules, but you won't like
Right.
it. I'm gonna show up with the card. By the time that I leave, you're gonna need to add a couple pages. Please don't ban me for life, but when I come back next week, I probably still won't have made anything different. You just won't be able to tell. And that's, every track car or spec race car that I work on, it's always.
What can you get away with?
Yeah, what can you do? It's not on paper. Like,
God.
E36 TIs, the suspension in the rear is archaic. It's like an E30.
Most
Trailing arm design is real limited. Your camber limited and stuff. And so, like, I just started trying to think about it. I'm like, well, they say you have to use the factory mount points. They just don't say how high they have to be. You know what I mean? So I start scheming because it's like, all I can do is move the subframe up into the car and leave the struts in their stock location to alter the camber angle. Because then I can make the trailing arms adjustable, put more length in them, and it's going to give me more linearity and stuff. But like that feller, he ended up, so they make a DTM control arm kit for those cars.
Oh, that'd be fun.
The other E36 chassis. And they're not really class legal for the class that he's in.
Good God.
But
putting all my weight on this.
Well, I tell you what though, that area that you just rubbed looks like fresh single stage paint. The rest of this looks like aerosol paint. So I think part of your work here is actually removing our overspray from 4 years ago.
No, this is all adhesive, man. There was a big sticker right here. And I'm sure it got heated up.
Is the Nakatomi Crossing still
It's still on there. Yeah.
Oh man.
Even though the person that made that joke isn't here anymore.
Well.
Yeah.
Now Nakatomi Crossing, that is from the era, what is it, the mid '80s, Tiananmen Square era? That's
no. It's a comment. It was a Freudian slip. So there's Nakatomi Plaza,
right?
Which is obviously.
Is that the place on?
That's probably from the best Christmas movie ever. I mean, don't get me wrong, Lethal Weapon is a great Christmas movie, but I think Die Hard is a better Christmas movie.
I watch my television and movies has become YouTube. So
that's sad.
Cable free for 15 years. Cable and satellite TV free. Sometimes I walk into my dad's house, he'll have the cable TV.
All right, I got to look this up for Brian because I don't actually know the name. Wow. Hang on. In Tokyo, Shibuya Crossing is what it's called. And this is that famous intersection in Tokyo, Shibuya Crossing. That crazy intersection.
Yeah, where you see it's like people going in 10 directions all at once.
But it's so smooth. And yeah how they cross over. So
you know what the synapse name of that is? Like what the human synapse referral name for that is?
No idea.
There's something about how when we're all in a crowd together. I think that's what stuff's really.
It doesn't have it on this ECU. It has it on the old ECU.
Maybe he came in here and took it off.
No, he hasn't touched the car.
Oh, because it wasn't here.
No, it was here. No, on our ECU, that was on the 4AGE ECU.
This is for the one.
Yeah, it's for the 1MZ. So on the 4AG, no, that one came with the camera we got in Dayton. On the ECU, we had it as, since the guy messed up, he combined the Shibuya Crossing and Nakatomi Plaza into one. So he called it Nakatomi Crossing, thinking that he was talking about that intersection in Tokyo. So I printed it up on Brother P-Touch, really big, and I put it on the ECU. And we called our ECU Nakatomi Crossing.
It's just all the things.
Yeah, we had all of this stuff coming in, going to the ECU.
Half of a dozen connectors.
A lot of that is automatic transmission, and a lot of these are jumpers that are for right-hand drive.
Hey, what's going on with your kitty litter Zen gardens?
That was for power steering. the top reservoir plug wasn't tight enough. So got it tighter.
Doing General Motors.
Yeah, we have our car cover in here, which is an awesome car cover, and our wiper blades. Yeah, and the trunk lid stays up.
Oh yeah, so with the windshield now, it is polycarb. Have the wipers.
Yes, we can run regular wiper blades. Yeah. Yeah.
Have you ever used felt wipers?
Yeah, I've seen them
Rain-X?
before. I would much rather have rubber wipers. Much rather have rubber wipers. So that's okay. What else was cool on this car? What else was weird? We have the new headlights. Like I said, their LEDs are so bright. The fog lights are so bright. We have our front air dam, which is from a 90s Chevy S10. It was super cheap. Just had to shape it a little and it bolted right in. Yeah, we have the 3 cameras, the one on the bumper, the one back here, and then the one in the cockpit. So when we live stream, we can live stream any or all of those cameras at once. And then we can also, the dash is inset in there so you can see all the specs on the dash. What? About what?
Let's talk about how probably take the hood off the Mazda right now and spin it. This thing feels like
I need weight up front. We have enough issues with weight in the back. I need weight up front. I need to ditch weight in the back.
Oh God.
Weight up front is fine.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we could lose
God,
some, fine,
like-
but
I'm kind of astonished that it weighs this much.
Hmm.
This reminds me of my 91 crate.
not worried about that. I'm more worried about the coilovers and managing weight with those than I am. And I need weight out of the back, which is a lot harder. No, not yet. We'll corner weigh it once we get the coilovers on. It's 2,600 pounds. Runs great. We'll be a lot stiffer in the rear, which is great. Yeah.
I like the rear loose like this.
Mm.
Because this is, you get up on those curves, you drop a wheel over one of those curves, you're still going to have track.
With the snap oversteer that this thing's, known for, I would much rather have a tighter rear end. That didn't sound right.
You don't think being able to reach out and touch things
No.
is
No, I don't want to do that. Not when I'm driving.
I've always felt like the Scandi flick in these and just drop it.
Yeah, you can Scandi flick with 2 fingers in this car.
You just set the rear
And the whole back end will come out if you want to do that. I don't want to do that all the time.
Stuck all the TRD badges.
Ryan put the TRD badge on there.
Good.
You should see the length of the screws behind there, about 3 inches long.
No,
That's all he had.
I know.
We were doing something underneath the car and he saw that TRD badge and he went berserker and added it on there. And I'm like, whatever. Yeah. Whatever you want to put on there. I don't really care.
Yeah.
You guys can't really see the TRD badge down here. Yeah, because this was we got this and the trunk lid from another car in Pennsylvania.
Plenty of material on there as well.
Yeah. Not going to burn through on that. Yeah, this stuff, I mean, just the Goo Gun. Oh, I thought I wiped it all off, but it's all right. Let it eat that adhesive. There's still a ton of adhesive from our last graphics. I mean, a lot of this stuff.
The white and black.
Yeah, and then the yellow is the accent color. Come on, doesn't that look great? Because we have our cool Momo yellow steering wheel and our yellow and black Amazon $10 dirt cover. What else do we do yellow in here? Nothing really. I guess our belts. Can't really see the pull downs.
Hold on. There's a steering wheel cover on the track steering wheel.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, this is for the shop, so we don't get it all jacked up. So we have a.
Oh, thank Christ.
Oh no! We don't race with this on. No, this is for.
Oh man.
No.
Oh, you had me in a hot panic for a moment. I
No.
thought, no, certainly we haven't gone down this road.
No.
Oh,
No. This is for in the shop.
when we're moving the car around. This is a $400 steering wheel. I'd rather not get it jacked up and greasy and boogers all over it. So
Yeah, let me put it this way. That kind donation will not be replaced with the equivalent item if it's ever damaged.
Correct.
We'll be getting an
Yeah.
NRG or something to replace that bad boy. I honestly, Craig gave this to us for the car, and I thought,
I don't know.
give that away. I mean, even if you never put it on, what, give that to us? Like, that's a brand new.
I still have the box.
Wheel. I know. That's the thing. It's not even like it was like this. It was. I got a Momo really good.
Okay.
I think it's 13-inch. I remember saying, I think it's 13-inch or 180 millimeter.
No, 320.
320 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, 320 mil. And he like knew the specs of it.
And he knew it would fit perfect.
We were driving somewhere to get something for the shop or whatever. And
I have an OEM steering wheel. It's cool because that has less depth, so the steering is back further. So you're actually sitting closer. It works out a lot better than if you had the regular steering wheel with the big bumper and horn on it. It's probably 2 or 3 inches less deep, and then we add the quick release, which makes up for some of that. It's really a great depth. Yeah. And then, we just have this on for when you grab it with gloves, you're not getting it all boogered up. I know you want to hammer all this shit out.
We're beyond here. It's a race car. We're just not using lead, but I will use some filler.
Yeah.
I mean, I have filler, but
I mean, it's pretty close. You can see the dents and stuff.
I got a commercial account between two of us. We go to O'Reilly's, get a couple things, dirt glass it up tomorrow and block it out Sunday night. Spray it Monday evening.
We have a straight fender now, so like you said, this can just get masked off and painted.
They're not even. They don't have the cracks in them anymore, right?
That one doesn't. We replaced it. I got a new one.
Does this one still have a crack?
I don't think so. It shouldn't.
So, tell you what, the kink that it has over here actually made it strong.
Good.
So
this thing can be, a quick paint. This can come off. This can come off.
I like the MR2 mud flaps, but I hate to say it, this thing really needs Group B mud flaps.
Brian wants to do Group B on everything.
Well, because what's the
He'd take like a Toyota Previa and Group B it.
No, okay, so a friend came back to the shop that he owned that I worked at one time, and he busts in the door. He's like so stoked, he's just crying. I'm like, dude, what did you just see happen? What movie did you just go see? And he's like, we went to the safari place. It's like going to the wilds.
Okay.
And he goes, he's like, we were taking Adler to go see the zoo animals and stuff. He's like, we're in the Range Rover. And like him and I had gotten in this Range Rover together. We bought a E30 together, and then this gal saw it and wanted it. She had a Range Rover, and needed 2 doors, and I did body work. He had cash. We were always wheeling and dealing together. We went in on it together. And he was doing the Mr. Mom thing like I'm doing now, taking the kid around and stuff. So he takes the Range Rover to like safari land, right? And he's like, oh yeah, thought we a Range Rover.
Oh, it gets an accent as soon as he gets through the gate.
Out there on the wild.
Oh no.
Nature front, save me the elephants and stuff. He comes back and he's all in hysterics. He would just never believe what I saw.
Okay.
And he's Toyota Previa, all track, supercharged. He's like, water halfway up the doors, wide open throttle through the creek crossing of this place.
Okay, I can respect that.
Yeah, except for little known fact about Previa all tracks. Number 1, they're supercharged. Number 2,
I didn't know they were.
a lot of the intake piping goes from down in the center of the vehicle under the floorboard where the engine is at, in front of the rear passenger's feet, under your ass as the driver, all the way up to the front. There's all these plumbing places and stuff that get leaks on a 20-year-old Japanese
Yeah.
supercharged vehicle. And it's a ripe opportunity for the ingestion of water. And so this Previa All-Track compressed some water into its engine.
Oh.
Where it spent the rest of its life, presumably.
That would
He
be the
said
end of that.
He kept going, but I can just imagine the sound that made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. And that's
You
the end of
know,
that.
when Anna and I first met, she has that Nissan.
The SER, yeah, the Sentra.
Yeah, it's the Nismo V-Spec SER. I didn't.
She
know
still
it.
has that, right?
Oh yeah, she won't get rid of it.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Did not know anything about that car. I thought, well, it's just a Sentra. Well, yeah, you'd think so.
She hammered that car.
Well, she drove it for a long time and then parked it up.
Yeah,
Did
200.
almost no maintenance. Just got 232,000 miles. Yeah. And so she parked it up, and it just needs like suspension and a whole new set of tires. And it would be good. But honestly, what it needs is another QR25DE. It's like reseal and refresh.
Those weren't KAs?
No, they're
Huh.
a QR25DE.
I thought they were
It's a
KAs.
2.5 liter, big, nasty
This
4-cylinder.
guy who comes to autocross, he has one. Really nice one.
Dating somebody, they have a car,
You
they're
learn about
working
it.
on it, learn about it.
Yep.
Some sick bastard at Nissan said, well, maybe we race it in the cup class. And they tried to do that, and they found out they're really heavy and they're kind of like wet paper bag. So to get around that, all these different areas of that car braced up in order to circumvent all the weight from that. The seats in the SER are like stupid lightweight and incredibly uncomfortable. But the back seat probably have a piece of cardboard in here. I think the piece of cardboard folded up in the trash cans.
That's the same back seat.
Like,
But I think Paul Newman Racing ran an SER, didn't they?
Yeah, I found all of this out only because she said, well, you can pick this up for me, you can put it in the Nissan old back seat.
And you go to fold the seat down, and it's like 2 pieces of paper.
No, you go to fold the seat down and you're like,
And it folds in half.
oh, there's nothing there. I look around, it's like nothing there. And after like half of an hour, you give up and you're like,
Oh, there's no latch or no.
I'll get on Google and I'll look it up. So you get on Google and you look it up. There's nothing. Then you get the owners. You're like, oh,
Owner's manual, I'll tell you.
20-year-old car that a female owns. So you get the owner's manual. And it tells you how to fold the seat down, right? So you go back there.
Just pop it out.
No, dude, none of the stuff is there. It's in the owner's manual.
Oh,
Why?
because it's the SER and the.
It's the V-Spec Nismo SER.
Yeah.
And so the back seat is just this piece of foam they put in, and then it has a great big tubular cross brace.
That's it.
And you can't put anything from the front to the back seat.
I'm just looking at the time here.
So that, like,
Oh, there we go. Okay,
you know, it's
123.
a 6-speed transmission.
Okay.
It's 2.5 liter, 230 horse. 200, I think, 50 foot-pounds of torque or something like that out of an NA motor.
That was a fun little car.
It's 13 compression ratio. Why would you do that?
This is only 10 to 1.
It's eating itself apart at idle. I mean, give it a little bit of timing and take the spark away, and it's going to run on its own. Nearly a diesel, you know. It's just an incredible stout little engine. To have that amount of mileage on it is still, roast the tires right off of the car. To think that you can get that sort of age out of something blows my mind. This engine was out of the Solara. It had 176,000 miles on it.
I thought we were at 200 with this.
No, I think it was 176.
175? Okay.
And it came out of Autotrans car.
You know, this thing runs 10 to 15% higher compression than OEM spec.
Because you decked the heads.
Nope.
Better head gasket.
Nope.
Just got higher pressure, cylinder pressure.
Super clean and honed the cylinder walls. Really
rings.
nice.
So new
Absolutely new rings,
Yeah,
new
so-
pistons.
Do you follow Lake Speed? You know who Lake Speed is?
I know who they are, but
You remember the Tide NASCAR?
Yeah.
So he ran that car in the 90s, and he had Lake Speed Racing. And they had, I think he either owns Total Seal Piston Rings or he's in partnership with them. I don't know the absolutes of it, but ring technology, even just in like the last 10 years, has been incredibly changed. But they're finding that, like, you know, you used to think you wanted like this real nice, fine, polished surface with good cross hatching in it, and actually they're finding like a rougher coarseness, like, well, I guess it's like R830 or whatever. They say you want to be able to like feel the cross hatching with your fingernails, and the reason being is like basically
oil catches better in it.
it hangs oil better and it helps it seal better. And the new steels that they're using, the new alloys they're using in these rings are so tough that they're going to seep out from that cylinder pressure. And if the film thickness is good and strong, basically it's going to seal like
Airtight.
it'll seal no matter how poor the cylinder was before. It's going to seal better than the factory rings would. So like
We just did factory spec on this, but we made sure everything was perfect. Everything was
Yeah.
polished, cleaned. Everything was literally to the 10,000th of a millimeter, or to the 1,000th of a millimeter.
is that your VP block over there?
Yeah, that one's my Miata block. That one is Cole's.
What do the internals of that look like? What do the cylinder walls that look like? You still have cross hatching on them?
Yes,
And it has piston squirters,
yes.
right? It has the little dongle
Yep.
tubes. Okay. Is it stamped BP1 or BP2?
BP2.
Okay. So I've got a couple of those at my shop. And what I find interesting about those, like the one that came out of my car had 186,000 miles on it. Crankshaft forged from the factory. Okay.
I think they all are.
No, because
Our BPO2s are.
the BP-2s are, and that's from 90 and 94 Miata and 95 and up Miatas all use those blocks to 2002, I think. But what's interesting, that block was originally meant for the 323 GTX. So that block that they used in the Miata for years and years and years is actually just a rally engine.
Yeah,
It's D2.
yeah.
They're all strong from the factory, like over-engineered engines. And I looked at mine; it still has cross hatching in it at 186,000 miles. I think you can honestly just put newer technology rings in it and do a hand rehome, meaning just run a.
This is a 1 BP. Sorry, I think- I think that's a 1. I can't really tell.
Is it a 1.6 then?
No, it's a 1.8.
Okay, it's a narrow keyway 1.8. Does it need a keyway repair?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's a small snout crankshaft. So that's
Yeah.
common. You can take, you got a tool to fix it right over there. You can just take it up and nail it out, and that's, you put a new keyway. That's all you can do with them. Otherwise, you get the Mazda still sells the crankshaft for those as a Mazda racing item.
Oh, so it's under the
Mazda,
Mazda.
and you can buy
Yeah, but
one
how much is it?
It's Mazda Motorsport. I think they're $524 or something like that.
So a $500 crank on a $500 engine.
Well, but one from Mazda Motorsport is not the same
No, that's true. That's very
It's a
true.
bigger snout. It comes from new.
It has
frame,
0 miles on it.
0 miles on it. New key. I think it comes with the harmonic dampener that is for the bigger snout.
Yeah,
There's some stuff that
it's worth
makes
it.
it
Yeah,
worth it, but you know,
I do need to rebuild that engine. I'm kind of saving that as a Florida project. That I'll have that in my garage at my house instead of at the shop, and I'll be able to work that. Nope, won't have it in the kitchen. Nope. But I'll have it since the shop and the house will be separate down there. I'll have it in the house garage, and it'll be something that I can work on in the garage while it's there. So yeah, good stuff. We're ready to race. You're signing up to drive, or you don't know yet? Okay, we got to sign up by tomorrow, and then if you can't make it for some reason, we can delete it. That's pretty easy. I just got a notification. That's what I was reading on my phone. Dakota just signed up. So it's myself, Dakota, and I think Brian signed up too. So we do have minimum drivers, which is nice. And then, yeah, if you don't want to do it, you can still come down and run as a spectator / crew. And just the 3 work great. That one and the one up front and the one in here works great. So we're getting back on this. It's been super cold and super gross all day today, so I've been very slowly motivated, but I've been doing a ton of computer stuff. So I haven't been out here with the car. Tomorrow should be nicer, and I'll also be able to get the limo out, and I got to adjust the IAC because David messed with the IAC control, and he shouldn't have. So it stalls out at stop signs. It also doesn't have the safety, no start in drive, no start in reverse. The neutral safety switch is not in that car. So I'm at a stoplight and I'm still in drive. And there's a car over here and there's a car coming this way. And I'm telling that car, look, just go. I'll get this thing started because it had flooded, or not flooded, but it had stalled. And the car's like, no, it's okay. Take your time. And they hear me trying to start this 383 and they hear how loud it's going to be. And I forget I'm in drive. And the car starts and I give it a little gas and it takes off. And I was just like, oh shit, okay.
so it has a tight
It does have a tight converter. It happened in another intersection. There was a school bus, and I told the school bus, just go ahead. And they were like, no, you go ahead. I was like, okay, if you want. And I went to go, and it stalled out again. And I was like, oh crap! And I didn't put it in neutral. I turned the key, and I vroom, and it takes off and left a black mark all the way. I just made this right turn.
It's a $700
No, TH400. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I've got F4 LE, and the converter that's in there is a stock spec converter for stock spec version. With the stock spec tire size,
Not the big tires that you have on there.
especially not with the stock 270 final drive.
Yeah.
The first gear is
Different gearing.
528 or something.
Oh my god.
And I had never really had any issues. It's always been, like, in my opinion, perfect. It's like driving a 4-speed manual car. This is a manual valve car.
I was just telling everyone when you pull it up, you can hear you because you tell it's Brian. Number one, it's so damn loud, and he's shifting a manual or an automatic car. It's really funny to hear. Yeah, manually shifting. Yeah.
It's just a straight. It sounds like.
But that's the thing with the limo. I don't want to do that. I'm not trying to rally that thing. I need the smoothest ride possible. I don't know. The guy said it's a built TH400, but I don't know how much is built. Did he change gearing? Did he change torque converter?
Build the test, take it out, put it down in first gear, and run it out, and it should bang the limiter. Just set a soft limiter like 4,800 to see if it hits it.
It'll hit it.
If it hits it, run it up to like 52. You should be able to go from first to second gear wide open at like 5,200 RPM, and it should just clap second gear.
Well, I already did a burnout in it. You see the picture?
I'm so busy with the shop.
I'll show you outside when we turn this off. I'll show you the burnout outside. It's pretty funny. The limo does burnouts if anyone's worried, concerned about that. I had to test it out. The drive shaft is in 2 pieces,
So it does have a
and
carry
it's yeah, it's got to be
two 8-foot sections.
probably 6 and 5. They're huge. They're huge. It is a 2-person gig. But it's got this huge drive shaft. Unfortunately, I don't think it's posi.
Give it the Lincoln locker.
I don't know about that.
I would leave it open dip, or I would get a Detroit for it because
Well,
running that thing with
right. That's my thing. I don't really want. I would rather have a posi, just a regular posi rear end, be fine, because something that big and trying to turn it with a locked rear end and just ka-chunk, 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 ka-chunk.
that would work perfect for that.
Yeah.
Because you can still turn, like I've driven Detroit locker rear ends and bits and stuff. You can still cut them.
I just do posi. It's cheap. It's easy. It's 12 volt, and call it done. And I can also get the gearing that I want in it. Oh. I don't remember.
373?
I was going to say a 370.
Yeah.
A 371.
I think it's 373.
I might actually do a higher gear too. I could do probably a 3. I was going to say a 390, or I could probably do, I don't think I want to do a 411, but 411 would be super smooth. And I need super smooth with that car. I don't need high speed. I don't need to launch it. I need super smooth.
You would get first and second gear up to 25 mile an hour.
And then cruise at 40.
Might bump into third gear.
Just cruise.
Third gear everywhere. You'd never hit fourth gear unless you're.
Yeah. Yeah. So that would be an option with that. So tomorrow I'll get the limo outside. You can't start it obviously in the garage. It's too loud and you'll die of carbon monoxide poisoning. So we'll get the limo out and get the IAC set. We'll get some work done on this thing, get it up on the lift, get the tires off, brakes checked, all that stuff, fluids checked, and hopefully the battery recharges overnight. It's going. It's just really slow. I might do, you know what I'm gonna.
We have one of those over at the shop right now. Although I did go to start the Tahoe.
There we go. Now it's on repair. It's going to desulfate all those plates, and then they're not plates. It's actually matte. Right. And AGM, yeah. So it'll desulfate those mats and then recharge it fully. So I'll let it do that tonight because it's sat a little too long for me. But yeah, we'll get a ton more car stuff, and I'll do Facebook Live in the morning. I'll try and get in here early tomorrow. The weather has everyone working very slow, and it makes it very easy to do stuff online inside when the weather's that bad. So I'm going to brave the outdoors and try and get more stuff done out here tomorrow. It was just rainy and crappy and windy and cold. It's still windy and cold outside. So we'll try and do more stuff tomorrow. So thanks everyone for hanging out. Thanks Brian for coming over and BSing cars with us and helping us remember all the stuff on the MR6. And yeah, the true madness. I will catch you folks on the next YouTube Live. Thanks everyone.